Hello and welcome everyone, my name's Capcan and this is going to be a build guide on Lancing Steel Custom Create Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction. So this version in particular is quite budget friendly, it does not cost you a lot and it can clear pretty high levels of content. Quite easy, full delirious Minotaur, as you can see here. The build itself is quite generalistic, so there is no actually hard to get items involved in here, so you can possibly even manage to do it on SSF, but just in general it is a very reliable build that was quite popular in this league. It's Inquisitor, which means that you have this big juicy crits, it is hit based, it's not ignite, it's not some other stuff, it's not necromancer. So yeah, basically that's it. You're using your Lancing Steel that then triggers Desecrate, and it triggers Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction, and you are good to go. You're just blasting through the maps, you're killing all the bosses. It is quite easy for you to complete most of the content with this skill, and it has very high potential in terms of the damage output. You can upgrade it to the to the complete levels of insanity. But yeah, just in general here, as you can see on the in the showcase, it goes quite easy against mostly all the things. I may include the kill of the Minotaur in a bit later, but just in general the showcase ends somewhere around here. Now we do have our PoB, and you can clearly see that it is an Inquisitor with the standard Inevitable Judgment talent taking, and then Pious Path for you to have some additional energy shield recovery that will help you with your mana sustain, and like mana sustain with Eldritch Battery, and it will help you with some additional damage intake and damage recovery. Basically, with Mind Over Matter and with Eldritch Battery, you will have your energy shield as a pseudo HP, additional one that will regenerate quite fast. Yeah, so then I guess the most important part here is the skills and how everything works. From the starting point, it is Lancing Steel of Spraying. Of course, we're taking increased critical strikes and increased critical damage because we are heavily crit based build, because we are custom crit. And then we do have Desecrate and Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction in here. Desecrate is very valuable for you to spawn all the corpses under enemies, and it will all proc automatically from you just using Lancing Steel. When it comes to the talent tree, we are taking as much life as possible, as much damage, elemental damage as possible, fire damage if you can, but elemental is more preferable. Then of course mana reservation nodes, critical nodes, and nothing special, some additional corpse nodes like we see in here. Yeah, and then mostly a little bit of spell suppression added. We do use, in this budget version, we do use a cluster jewel that gives us some additional ally damage with Sadist, which is pretty valuable too. And then we do use Watcher's Eye with some mods for Vitality and Grace in here. Otherwise, most of the jewels consist of just either attributes, resistances, life, or critical modifiers, and we do use one unique jewel besides Watcher's Eye. That is the Red Dream, which gives you 10% of 10% of fire damage added as extra chaos damage. And all your fire resistance or elemental resistances in range give you a chance to gain additional endurance charge, as you can see here. We do have a little bit of fire resistance on this talent node, that's why we're placing it here. And that's mostly it when it comes to the talent tree. When it comes to other skills that we're using, we are going for Determination, Vitality, Grace, Defiance Banner, so quite heavy defensive layers. Then automation with Molten Shell, we do have plenty of armor. We are using Mark on Assassin's Mark with Mark on Hit as our curse, because it gives us critical strike chance and multiplier, which is essential for us. Enduring Cry with Call to Arms, yeah, for additional recovery and charge generation and all this stuff. Shield charge for you to blink through for you to travel faster, frost blink to blink, and Arcanist Brand with Desecrate for some additional corpse generation on bosses if you need that. On big chunky bosses it may be beneficial for you to have it, and then Val Haste with Divine Blessing and increased duration. So yeah, additional cast speed, movement speed, both regular haste and Val Haste. And then as our items, we are just using generally good rares. Our main weapon should have hits can't be evaded. It should have high baseline critical strike chance and high attack speed. These three modifiers are guaranteed most necessary for our build. Global critical strike multiplier as on this base is pretty good too, but it is not as consequential, and then we do have some additional fire damage in here too. Otherwise, we are using some items that will give us energy shield, because we are playing with the nodes from Inquisitor that give us all the regeneration and stuff, so we want to have this buffer additional. Then otherwise is just fire damage, maximum life, resistances, chance to double damage, pretty good as well. Fizz damage taking as some elemental damage, all the regular defensive layers that you can imagine, resistances and life. You can use some additional flat life regen. It will not be useless by any means. Otherwise, yeah, try to get energy shield, evasion rating and armor. Both will be pretty handy as we are using both the auras for them. But that is in higher budget tiers, of course. Then with gloves, we do see here some additional crit strike chance, plus 2 levels for gems, some increased elemental damage, and just otherwise generic stuff. With boots, it drops brittle ground while moving, which is quite important for us to have. Otherwise, high movement speed, all the regular stuff. We allocate Ash, Frost, and Storm, which gives us just additional elemental damage and effect of non-damaging ailments. As an anointment. Otherwise, attributes, fire damage, crit multiplier, same stuff basically. On rings, you can say that it is quite similar too, with some additional flat life regeneration, and otherwise, just fire damage, attributes, and resistances. And then with our belt, of course, quite high amounts of strength, cold res. As you can see here, increases to damage, some additional flat fire damage, which may not be the biggest biggest damage increase, but anyways, and increased cooldown recovery rate, which is quite important for us. Then otherwise it's Quicksilver, Jade, Granite, and Diamond Flask. Diamond Flask being 100% needed with the mod to and everything, everywhere where you can, you want to have chance to gain a flask charge when you deal a critical strike, of course, and you want to have at least one flask with increased critical strike chance, and then just your life flask with immunity to bleeding. So this is mostly it when it comes to this build. Thanks you for watching. If you want more content like this, then definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to remember if I haven't skipped anything in here, and yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, bye.